Hello again. Hopefully everything is going well for you. And this is a lecture on chapter 9. We are very close to the end, and so hopefully you've been getting a lot of good information from what we've been covering in class. So chapter 9 is the next chapter that we are exploring, and it focuses on social emotional development and how social and emotional functions manifest in young children with special needs. When it comes to quantifying skills and abilities, social and emotional development is one of the most difficult domains to quantify. This is because, in part, developmental domain represents one of the most complicated facets of human nature, wherein these skills not only affect the individual, but also the child's relationships with the people around him or her. In studying these behaviors, partners and settings are of the utmost importance. While emotion is the core building block, emotional expression and emotional understanding are its outward manifestation. Similarly, being capable of showing increased emotional self-regulation is a key building block of relationships. Typically, emotional regulation is first seen in the preschool years when an upset child moves from simply having a tantrum to the stage of asking himself or herself this question: given this feeling, what can I do about it? The mature answer is to use their words and reason through the negative emotion to arrive at a pro-social and adaptive solution. In turn, these capabilities lead to increased social competence in dealing with social situations, affective situation, peers, and friends. Socially competent children possess the ability to form positive, successful social relationships. In order to do this, the child must first show interest in other children, which in turn eventually leads to direct group and parallel play. To arrive at that developmental time point, a play group must be entered, play must be maintained, conflict must be resolved when it arises. These pro-social behaviors continue to increase meaningful interactions with playmates as well as the formation of friendships. Relationships exist once attachments have been formed, and whether they are positive or negative. Infants form almost immediate connections with family members, especially their caregivers, and the number of friends grows such that they are eventually connected to one another within the child's social sphere. To form an attachment, emotional intelligence comes into play. Compromised of perceiving emotions, using emotions to facilitate thinking, understanding emotional information, and managing emotions, emotional intelligence allows children to gauge their peers' emotions as well as their own, and consequently to modulate their emotional responses to a wide array of social issues and situations. A variety of theories exist to explain emotional and social development, including social learning theory, which emphasizes socialization, and the developmental individual differences relationship-based DIR approach, which gives the interaction of genetics, social interactions in an environment, and the genetic environment interaction. The factors that are pertinent to both of these theories include temperament, gender, stress and resilience, sibling relationships, parental style, and cultural expectation. And these factors contribute to social emotional interactions for young children and families across both of the theoretical models. Furthermore, children with special needs have other potential challenges which to contend to in the social arena. For example, children with autism spectrum disorder have lower rates of social initiation and limited response to peers, while child with communication disabilities tend to gravitate towards adults and others in lieu of their more typical peers. Taking this into account, the child's developmental challenges will help the early interventionist to better manage problem behavior and to facilitate positive social emotional development in a young child with special needs. In order to understand a child's social and emotional struggles, along with that coping strategies he may or she may use, a multi-method assessment will be helpful. This type of assessment approach ensures that many, if not all, aspects of a child's social and emotional difficulties will be addressed. To accomplish this, there's an array of measurement strategies that include targeted interview, behavioral observation, questionnaires, and rating scales completed by different informants, along with assessment of both family and environmental factors. As a result, findings should guide targeted intervention efforts for the early interventionist. Additionally, the multi-method assessment approach will involve direct input from caregivers and ensure the development of family-focused interventions that will take into account the skills of the caregiver, the consistency of care, and the key classroom activities designed to address learning positive social emotional skills. With respect to the latter initiatives, it is also important to know that the evolution of technology to support the development of social emotional skills is rapidly evolving and should provide new, fruitful avenues for teaching such skills. So hopefully you'll enjoy this chapter on social emotional and be able to think about the kids that you're possibly working with now and what kinds of interventions or interactions you're observing and how we can help all children create those bonds with each other. Thank you, and hopefully you continue enjoying and making your way through the modules.